East of Ipswich. The nights are in the deep midwinter, the days turn towards the light. The biting wind and the clank of masts signals an unsettled season. In deserted boatyards up and down the Orwell, yachts seem as forlorn as abandoned children. On the tip of the Shotley Peninsula, a road-worn caravan sells burgers and ice cream, and a pair of mums, pushing prams with dogs and small children, walk home, sucking on ice-cold lollipops. The view across the mouth of the river is to Felixstowe docks, where great cold freighters stand like ancient monoliths, stacked to the sky with oversized shoeboxes. They are dwarfed by a line of derrick cranes. Across the river mouth, the grey town of Harwich, in the cold light of the afternoon, presents a jagged series of rooftops, as lonely as the eyes of a stray dog. East of Ipswich, on the first working day of the new year, all is shut by mid-afternoon. A great sense of grief and longing hangs in the air as rain falls and the pale parlour lights of Pinmill down a narrow lane of old cottages, like a line of war widows, to a pub sat on the river mud. On the mudflaps, seagulls and wading birds, still as the retreated tide. Nothing moves, not one bud of spring. East of Ipswich, Python Palin and Eric Blair once spent their summers. Blair to take his uncle's forename and the river as his surname, a precaution against blacking the family honour by his literary efforts. George Orwell seems to herald the bleak foreboding of midwinter east of Ipswich. Michael Palin's jovial child summers, for they must have been filled with fun, north at Southwold up on the Suffolk coast, speak of a post-war freedom from the tyranny of Hitler, an idyllic butterfly summer, untroubled by the tormented doom carried down on Animal Farm. All eyes turn to Ipswich today, to the courthouse where stands an ordinary-looking, middle-aged man dressed in a good suit, accused of murdering 5 young girls who, it is said, to pay for their heroin addiction had, until recently, plied the oldest profession in the world. Their bodies have all turned up, either floating in the chill of streams or thrown onto farmland or by the side of the road. The media moves in and out like a travelling circus, turning up bemused passers-by to give a take on what is happening. A father talks about his abandoned daughter as though she'd only popped round for tea yesterday, when he hadn't seen her or supported her for years. There is a shell shock about Ipswich, once a small market town surrounded by farmland, now bludgeoned with redevelopment as nouveau riche claim the river banks, dismantling the old docks and putting up swanky residencies, taking the 7:10 to Liverpool Street each morning and returning in their droves from the metropolis each evening. Such is the tick-tock life of Ipswich. A band of women have marched through the town as though they waved temperance banners under the noses of cowboys who sank cold beers after a cattle drive in a bemused and untamed Wild West. The rallying call is for women to be free to walk alone at night on the dark streets of town. The local council has responded with some bright spark, putting in a series of concrete blocks, fitted with pink lights to encourage the notion of safe streets, on the very streets where the heroin is plied faster than the girls can show a leg. Up and down this land, women are rising and eating their buttered toast spread with a marmalade of malady, and a cry not unlike the Oxford movement to reclaim this dear and pleasant land from the influx of Johnny Foreigner and to sweep the ladies of the night from the streets. As opinions form around the writings of many a journalist whose lifestyles would make a whore blush, their husbands and partners turn to a pretty turn of heel and uncomplicated affection. The shops are open all hours. The sales are on. You pays your money. You takes your choice. We live in sad and lonely times, or do we? In the secret of the Roan Inish, a little girl has seals and sandwiches and lights a fire in a broken-down abandoned cottage, and sheds the darkness of her winter with a smile that fills her grandfather and grandmother with joy. 'Tis a simple choice to swim for shore or fall away in the tide. 'Tis also said that the devil takes his own, and the preacher has a sermon to save lost souls. But 'tis also entirely possible to have no guru, no teacher, no method, and still keep smiling. In Palin's east of Ipswich, the teenage boy falls off the back of a motorbike. The breathless girl falls upon him. He reaches in his shirt pocket for a handkerchief to stem his bloodied nose and pulls out a condom. "It's not mine," he blurts. "No, but it will do," she assures him. Keep smiling, Mike.